Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Red Pill Podcast number 106. I hope you're all having a beautiful weekend out there. We have a lot to get into today. I'm actually going to be doing a decode on gold due to popular demand. Got a lot of people asking me about gold and precious metals. I'll be getting into a bunch of altcoins, of course, and then I have the dates and some numerology, gematria to be starting out with tied to Silicon Valley Bank and that fiasco that happened back on March 10th. So have a lot to get into. Get relaxed, get comfortable, grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea if it's the morning, or a glass of wine or beer or a beverage of your choice. I myself am drinking some hibiscus tea. Incredible. It's just some hibiscus flowers that were cold brewed, pure water. It's delicious. I've been really enjoying that lately. So without further ado, let's get into it. And before we get started, remember, if you are new to the Wolfpack, welcome. So grateful to have you here with us. If you haven't gotten access to Discord yet, just go ahead and send me a direct message on Patreon with your Discord username and the last four numbers after your username. Don't email me or comment in this video with that information. Make sure to direct message me. Also, we are back in the groove of things since our last red pill that I released, number 105. It was a live stream to celebrate 2 years with the mastermind community. So again, I am so grateful for everyone's support. It's been a beautiful 2 years, and here we are moving into year 3. Wow, amazing. And since we're back into the swing of things, just remember that we do voting on altcoins in this episode for next week. So you're going to want to go ahead to the comments of this video and write in the project and the ticker symbol of the coin that you would like to submit. And then whatever coins get the most thumbs up are the ones that we will pick next week. So back into the groove of things. I know last week we did an almost 3-hour long podcast packed with gems. So definitely, if you missed out on that one, it's rare that I do a live stream of a red pill. You're definitely going to want to check that out and take some notes because it's packed full of information. And today's going to be packed full of information as well, because I think this is going to be a really juicy decode on gold. It's not a full-blown comprehensive presentation, but it will be sharing some of my upside target concepts and proof of it with the code. Okay, so let's get into some of our dates. Again, appreciate every single one of you. Grateful for every single one of you. Today is April 9th. Sunday, we're going to be skipping today because we've already talked about this date before. We are aware that since it's Sunday, crypto is trading alone until later in the day, where we will have the Dow Jones open up. Oh, actually, no, let me make sure I should be looking up New York Stock Exchange holidays because we might be closed tomorrow. Let me double check before I speak. Again, much love. Grateful for you guys. I had an amazing time on the live stream, by the way. That was a dope live stream. Okay, so we just did Good Friday and we're back in action. Okay, awesome. So later today, we will have the Chicago Mercantile Exchange opening up. We will have precious metals opening up. Speaking of gold, we're going to be getting into that later, as well as the Dow Jones. So we just had that holiday on Friday, and now we're looking like we're good all the way until Memorial Day. All right. Now that we got that nonsense out of the way, we're going to skip straight to this Tuesday. All right. This is definitely a interesting place to get started, but we're going to move it to the 11th and connect these dates. And we have 31 days apart. Now, what this is showing is the day after the bank failure of Silicon Valley Bank. That was on March 10th of 2023. We're looking at the 11th and comparing it to this upcoming Tuesday. And I'm going to be showing you a bunch of connections to the number 13 and the number 31. Okay, so this date has a standard date numerology of 13, and it's connected by 31 days to the date that you can look at as 311, or off of the event of 3-1. Again, 31, and we have right here the 31. We always take things in a window of days of the day during, the day before, the day after. That's how it all works energetically in a trinity like that. Okay, so thinking about this number 31, this will be the 11th prime number. All right, that 11 number, very important to consider here because we're tying it to March 11th and April 11th, 11/11. And we can see that this will be the 101st day of the year. So you remove the 0 in the rules of numerology, you're getting back to number 11. Lots of 11s here. 31 days is 11th prime. 101 is 11. 11th of April, 11th of March. Definitely an important connection to be made here, and it's been making me think a lot about looking into numbers that we don't commonly talk about. We don't really hear too much on, and that's why I love the prime numbers. The prime numbers are taking it to the next level, where you start to see as a decoder into another layer of the Russian doll, as I like to call it. And we know that this 58 has been coming up a lot in my work because it ties back to XRP. So could be something to be said about this upcoming Tuesday with XRP. Again, the day of Mars. Tuesday is Martes, which is Mars Day. We have that 15 right there. We have Mars giving you 15 right there. And this character, this archetype, this mythology was exactly what I utilized to determine that a big event would happen on the 10th of March. So we could go back to that video that I released before we hit the 10th of March, and that was the low point that we had in the crypto market. It was a 22-day cycle that I revealed before it even happened, and it was the same day that Silicon Valley Bank went down. So it's amazing, and I believe we need to utilize this date moving forward as a pivot date to compare to the future. This way we can determine how things are going to go tied to this event, because that's how it all works. If you start to decode date numerology and dates and everything, using astrology is awesome, but taking the dates and looking at like a ripple effect of how it just cycles out, exactly how a ripple effect works, that is why I utilize this strategy of picking significant dates and comparing them to things that we've seen in the past, and then that pattern will determine how it moves forward into the future. Same concept. Now, another thing about this number 11 that we were talking about before, remember we were saying the 31 is the 11th prime number. Well, March 10th itself was an 11 date numerology connected to this April 11th date by 1 month and 1 day. 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Got a lot of 11s. So this number 11 I would consider to be the number of a reset of energy. That was exactly what I said back then, and that's exactly what I feel now. So thinking about this a little bit more, by the code, we have the 11s and Aries giving you 11. And when we spell Aries this way, we're not spelling it like the zodiacal sign. We're spelling it like the mythology, the god of war. All right. So we have that 11 in Chaldean right there, just like I was showing you with all these other 11s. And this will be on a Tuesday, Martes, the day of Mars, Aries, the god of war. And that's what war is all about, right? Like you prepare for the war, then you go have your blood ritual sacrifice, and then after, all that energy that has left vessels needs to go somewhere else, and it goes into the so-called winner of the war. I know this is kind of a dark concept, but that's how it all works. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It all has to go somewhere else. It's just prana exchange. And that's how I look at this. And we could apply the same concept to the way banks work, the same way financial crises work, the same way all transactions or all commerce works. So moving forward, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin hits 31,000 into this date range of April 11th through April 13th. So earlier we were talking about the 31 being the 11th prime, and then we have the mirror of that 31 being the 13. What we have here, April 11th is a 13 standard date numerology. Then we were taking it 1 day off of this event here, Silicon Valley Bank, that's 31 days, and then moving us into the 13th day, 13 again, and tied to this all by 33 days. So pulling it 1 day back, you can see from 10th of March to April 12th, 33 days. Number of transmutation. This is definitely something to be paying attention to whenever you get these number 33s. Also, apologies about the dog next door. I don't know if it's picking up in my mic, but if you're hearing it, apologies. It's out of my control. But moving on, we have another thing to say about these 13s and all the connections that I've been sharing with you. And right here on the 13th day of April, 13 date numerology on the 11th, and then on the 13th day of April, it being the 103rd day of the year. Date numerology 103, you remove the 0, that gives you 13 again. 13th day of April, 103 brings you back to the 13. Crucial. And if you connect this directly to the day that Silicon Valley Bank failed, it is 1 month and 3 days. Another 13. Is this blowing your mind yet? Now, this also ties to March 13th, which is a palindrome date. You have 313, that is 13 and 31 going backwards and forwards, and that connects all of these 13s and 31 connections full circle here with that 31. This is how I'm going to start to open up these Red Pill podcasts moving forward, because I feel like it's this opportunity to teach people how I do my decoding on dates. Specifically, I think this could be very helpful for people to become more open-minded to how to look at all of this. So this is a very zoomed in version of something that I would typically do for my decodes, which would be zooming out into the past events, maybe sometimes even 100 years ago, like we did with the Titanic sinking. But to me, this is just amazing how many of these 3113 connections we're getting in all of this. And let's just pivot over, because we were talking about the 31 being the 11th prime number right here. And remember that Bitcoin has an alternative ticker symbol called XBT. Think about that X. So XBT is the secondary ticker symbol of Bitcoin, and that is 11 in Chaldean, tying you right back to Aries, god of war, the taker, so there's a giver. And who's the giver? Pluto. So let's get back to XBT. Got that 11 in Chaldean, something to consider. As I said to you moments ago, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin hit 31,000 around this date range of April 11th through April 13th. 31 is the 11th prime number, right? Tying us back to all of this, another amazing number 11 connection for these dates, and April 11th and March 10th, the day Silicon Valley Bank failed. So by the date numerology, you have March 10th giving you that 11, the exact day. And look, 3-1, 31, 11th prime. Unbelievable. Connecting it to the 13th day of April, 103, 301, 1 month and 3 days. So many 13s. One other thing to consider is this connection right here. We're going to be going off of the 11th tied to March 10th, which was the first date in this whole concept, and that's 32 days exactly. And let me show you how Bitcoin BTC gives you this 32 in Chaldean. So kind of considering that the next move up for Bitcoin is into 30,000, that 32,000 range, if you see where it's at, it's right there at the 0.5 fib. 0.5 fib level is very crucial, and we have never seen an iteration of an automatic rally phase that did not make it at least until the 0.5 fib. All of them have. So I was very confident we would at least be seeing into the 30,000s sometime during April, and it could be happening as soon as next week. Next week is a very important time because it'll be the 2-year anniversary since Bitcoin hit its buying climax back in April of 2021, hit the top perfectly on April 14th of 2021, the day that Bernie Madoff died. And remember, Bernie Madoff was part of the 2008 crisis. We have Lehman Brothers, all that other shit that was going on with banking, subprime mortgages, CDOs. You know, you've probably seen the movie The Big Short. That was great. On a recent interview I did, I talked about this movie Margin Call. It's an amazing movie as well for those of you that are interested in markets and how this whole show operates. But we knew the truth going all the way back to the beginning of the channel that it has everything to do with the Shemitah and the Hebrew calendar. That was the secret. And now the secret is, well, you guys know, not a secret anymore. But it's something that still during this whole moment people had disbelief in. And this proving itself again how it all works. So it's a beautiful time to be in this market. It's a beautiful time to be in the know. And to be in a community while you know is even more amazing. So again, super grateful for this opportunity and sharing this space with all of you guys whilst the masses are just waiting around for Elon Musk to tweet something. Getting back to this, we talked about that 33-day connection between April 12th and March 10th. Definitely something to keep in mind. 33, number of transmutation. This will be the 102nd day of the year. That's like event 201, mirror of 102. Keep that in mind. As above, so below. And now, one esoteric thing about April 12th is it's the 263 days left in the year. So let's look a little deeper into this code. And this showing you it is the 56th prime number. Just like BTC gives you 56 in reverse. And let's go over to the periodic table for a moment and check out the 56th element on the periodic table is barium. Barium. You bury 'em in the ground. Well, you could see with barium, you have that 56th element, and it is the 137 atomic mass, and that 137 is the 33rd prime number. So again, coming back to this 33 that I was just talking about a little bit earlier, atomic mass is 137, 33rd prime, and it's having me think now how this is all coded in with this number 56. It's very important. So let me just quickly show you. We were talking about May a lot in my last Sell in May, Go Away Decoded, and you could see a 56 date numerology on March 10th, just like barium 56. We were talking about BTC giving you 56 and how April 12th is the day leaving 263 days left in the year, that being the 56th prime number. Let's go to May 17th. It will be a 65 date numerology, and it's the 137th day of the year. Think about this. How we were just talking about this 56 connection to April 12th. 263, 56th prime, 56th element has 137 atomic mass. And there you go. The 137th day of the year is May 17th. Sorry, the 137th day of the year. 65 in its date numerology, the mirror of 56, like barium. And why this is so amazing is because I talked about the specific date in my Sell in May and Go Away Decoded video. This is mind-blowing. This is really, really wild. Let me connect this to March 10th. Wow. All right. So we can see that the day before this event was 69 days tied to May 17th, leading into the day the bank failed, which was a 69th day of the year. Crazy. So this Silicon Valley Bank event is so important, and May 17th is the anniversary of the New York Stock Exchange. It's their birthday, allegedly. And this will be the 231st anniversary. So think about how we're currently in the 230th year of the New York Stock Exchange. 230, you remove the 0, that brings you down to 23. And let me show you silicone equals 23. Let's go to silicone on the periodic table. It is the 14th element. So you have silicone equaling that 23. New York Stock Exchange is 230 years old. That's 23. And we're in the Hebrew year of 5783. Adds up to 23. This is the year that Silicon Valley Bank failed in the Hebrew year. Then we have this being the year of what I'm calling the Jubilee. is 23. We know Bitcoin equals 23. We do this every week. And remember, May 23rd in the calendar is the day leaving 222 days in the year, the 222. That is 3 2s. And on the 23rd day of this month, and May is actually your true third month in the system. March is the true first month. April 2nd, May is the third month in the system. So you go to the day before, and this is technically the third month, 22 days, 322 in the 223 year, with 223 days left in the year. That's why this date is so crucial to me. And the fact that it's going to be into a new moon, a little bit past a new moon, I'm really interested to see how this is all going to go. You're connecting it also by 73 days. And you can see 73 is your 21st prime number. This has everything to do with Saturn, the number 21 coming back to Saturn. And that is Satoshi. That's who is the creator of blockchain. Again, this is a mythological character. It's not a real person. It's funny, I also said that at 21 minutes into this, so we know that this is a simulation. Anyways, one moment, guys. I'm just going to drink some tea. All right. So I don't want to confuse everyone so much with these numbers, but I'm just trying to show you how tied in this bank failure of Silicon Valley is to all of what's going on. And I'm trying to utilize that day to potentially determine what's to come next in the market. So let's move forward. We talked a lot about the 11th, this upcoming Tuesday through this 13th. Definitely something I'm keeping in mind. So just wanted you guys to all be aware. And look at that. If you take from the 14th, which is the following day, to the 17th, it's 33 days. Beautiful. I probably talked about that on my last Decode as well. So this May timeframe, we already talked about, is packed with connections around the 20th through 23rd weeks of this year. Let me show you the week numbers. We got the 20th week starting on May 15th, and then the 23rd week going through the full moon of June, which will be on June 3rd. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I am very open-minded to how this next phase can play out, because this past 2 cycles that we saw with Bitcoin, it topped out on the automatic rally in the month of June. This June full moon on June 3rd will be the strawberry full moon, a full moon in Sagittarius. During that time, we'll be in sidereal Taurus, which is the bull, and in tropical will be in Gemini. So take that for what it's worth for you astrologers out there. I know we have some incredible astrologers in our community, people that are very open-minded, even practicing astronomy. So I'm just leaving that out there. You know, feel free to add what you'd like to add regarding the month of June. I just wanted to let everyone know I'm working very hard on figuring this out. Essentially, when will this market top out? So I released my Sell in May and Go Away Decoded video talking about May 17th being a very important start point to a lot of things. You know, I mean, definitely go back and watch that Decode if you're new here and you haven't yet. But let's revisit a couple things about these last 2 cycles. So I'm going to zoom out, and we have, turn this off. We have this cycle and we have this cycle that I want to pay attention to. And I'm looking at this point right here and this point right here. That's what I'm calling the automatic rally. This one coming in on June 20th of 2016. This one coming in on June 24th of 2019. Both in June, both around similar time frames on the weekly chart. Okay, that's pretty much the end of June. Now, both of them did not end on a new moon. They were doing their own thing when they topped out. So very quickly, in 2016, the top was exactly on June 13th, which was around a first quarter moon, about 8 days after a new moon. Here in 2019, the top was June 26th, which was a third quarter moon, which was about 6 days before a new moon, which was also a solar eclipse to start the solar cycle. Now here we are, we're about to start our solar cycle We're going to start our solar cycle on April 20th, which is just like 11 days away. And we are pulling off a very similar energy out of the bottom comparatively to the last two cycles. So that's great. We have that going for us thus far. Now, June 2023, the new moon is June 18th. So if I have a window in the last two iterations of this going 8 days after or 6 days before that particular new moon, that gives me a window of June 12th through June 26th. Again, I am very open-minded to how this could all go. I am trying to find holes in my theory, okay? I'm not biased here. I'm really doing my behind-the-scenes work for you guys. I want you to know that. So since we only have two past cycles to work with, it's very limited data. And of course, you're all aware I'm doing my best to decode this move for the market, but after countless hours of research and trying to find a flaw in this thesis around May 17th through May 19th dates, there's only this data I shared with you moments ago and a potential big find that I am working on right now behind the scenes, and I will plan to release it with you all here very soon, probably by this upcoming week. I should have all the data prepared and ready to share. And I'm not sure if it will be a full-blown decode, but it will be packed with information for sure. I just want everyone to know I'm really trying to find a flaw in the original thesis. And although I'm not here to be right or wrong, I'm a decoder. You're all decoders. What is most important is that we do not get greedy at this time, and we take action according to our own investment thesis and our own trading plan. That's really all that matters. And we're here together in the community to help each other thrive in that process. But remember this, I am going to be coming out with information soon about potentially how May into June, July can go. I don't want to disregard the fact that in the past two iterations of Automatic Rally, we hit up into June. So please, everyone out there who is aware of how to decode, give the community as much as you possibly know about the month of May and June as we're approaching those months. And I believe it will bring us all together into coming closer and closer to figuring this thing out and a system of accuracy. You know, my system has worked pretty damn well thus far, but I don't want us to have another one of those moments where we go through these eclipses and it's like, well, what's going on here? That's not what we're here. That's not the energy that this community welcomes. We're working together on this. So for me, I have shared all the data and all my feelings, but the next thing I release, I think, will be comprehensive, and it'll give us a secondary or third case scenario to consider. One other thing I was told about recently is that TradingView removed the log setting off of the chart, and that's true. So if you guys would like a quick shortcut to access between linear scale and logarithmic scale, on a Mac, you're going to want to press Option and L. So Option L, this is your linear scale. If you hold Option and press L, it will change it to logarithmic. I have no idea whose executive decision that was to remove the log button that we usually press, but there it is what it is. I'll probably be updating a new course lesson on that soon just because I know that that's going to confuse people. I've had 2 years now of videos where I'm talking about pressing this log button and now it's gone. So kind of sucks for me, but doing my best. Anyways, we're going to be looking at a couple of charts here. I talked about this chart, I believe, in my Sell in May and Go Away Decoded video. We have this automatic rally here in the 2012 time frame. Here we have this automatic rally in June. Here we have this automatic rally in June. And now here we are getting to this area. In these two iterations here, we actually hit, right here into August. My bad. So we have the start of a solar cycle on this line, and then we went up into this August time frame. We have the start of a solar cycle here. We went up into this time frame, and then in the last cycle, we perfectly came into it and then got cut off. Again, very limited data here to work with, but we do know for a fact we bottom out before the start of a solar cycle, then after a solar cycle, we move up. That we know. Okay, we have a bottom, solar cycle up, bottom, solar cycle up, bottom, solar cycle, up every time. That is without, we don't need to question that anymore. That has high level of predictability. So here we are, we've bottomed. We're moving into a solar cycle. The odds are we can move up. Now, can we do a double bottom type thing? Have a black swan like we did back here? For sure. Can we have a lesser automatic rally for Bitcoin and come down and hold support and trade at the lows and do like a clean textbook double bottom? Sure. But it seems to be that whatever these cemented lows are before we move through a solar cycle is what Bitcoin likes to consider to be its selling climax. And that's all that matters to me as a long-term investor and a Wyckoff trader. So now we're going to get a little bit more into the data. And I made this chart for you guys. We have here all of these red lines are us being inside of a lunar cycle. And then this green line is us starting a solar cycle. And then I decided to not add any more data except for one eclipse after the start of the solar cycle. So you're going to see a bunch of red lines, then a green line, then one red line. Red lines, green line, one red line, red lines, green line, one red line. Now this green line is just the start of a solar cycle. All right. And I'm just going to pay attention to these two prior cycles and we're going to play along with this. And then I'm going to get around to this white line. But for now, just look at the way that this all goes. We have a top before the start of a lunar cycle. We have a top before the start of a lunar cycle. We have a top before the start of a lunar cycle. There was an anomaly though. And that anomaly was this double top bull trap. Again, limited data. So we have to be open-minded to this stuff. We can't have biases and say that this works with 100% precision every single time. But this anomaly here is making me open-minded to how the future could go. But technically, we still entered a downtrend during a lunar cycle. Entered a lunar cycle, downtrend, entered a lunar cycle, downtrend, entered a lunar cycle, downtrend. It's happened every time. Start a solar cycle uptrend, start a solar cycle, maintain uptrend. I don't think this will be any different. I have this circle right here to show you what the automatic rally was. Circle to show you what the automatic rally was. Now I'm going to zoom into these phases one by one, and I'm going to show you where I have this white line. So this white line is a clear hold of support, which once we broke through, we entered a selling climax. This will be your capitulation phase, and you gravitate back up to it to see if you can break through it instead of it turning into a resistance. So this is a situation where prior support did not become resistance, and that's a good thing. That's a big sign of strength. What I believe to call it an automatic rally, we do need to break through this horizontal resistance level, and there it is. So now let me reset this chart and let me show you this iteration right here. So you have a clean horizontal trading range, prior support being held, breakthrough, and then in this cycle, we just busted right through it. So that was crazy. Really probably caught a lot of people off guard how we just smashed through it like that. So in this iteration, we have here, I would like to call this the clear horizontal level. We have a test, 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 and when we broke it, we entered this capitulation phase, and now here we are being faced with trading on top of or below this resistance line. So right here, we have something similar in the 2015, 2016 cycle. And remember, in this cycle, we also had a Shemitah. In this cycle here, we didn't. In this cycle here, we did. So perhaps this is really shaping out to be more like this prior cycle. It's kind of important for us to consider, right? So we went into the solar phase here, and then we went up past it, but then did correct into the solar eclipse. Now this moment right here is making me think a lot. It really is. It's making me think, is Bitcoin going to do like a weird sideways through our eclipses and then just pump finally into the end of the May new moon? It's possible. And I told you earlier, the window of time, if we were to take the amount of days before and after the June new moon, in this cycle right now, it would be somewhere between June 12th and June 26th. Pretty much right there into where the last cycle ended. It literally ended like, it's amazing. I am trying so hard to find where this could end, but I think we're getting pretty damn close now because we're opening our minds to how the eclipses do play a huge role in energy, but to call the exact top of an automatic rally, we're getting wizard level right now, man. Like no one's doing this. So again, I don't want to get too lost in the sauce right now, but I wanted to show you guys this chart. I thought it could be very helpful for you. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on, this is a super noisy chart, so just bear with me on it. I did all the hard work in the background and then I summarized it. All right, so this is showing you Mercury station retrograde in all of these boxes. These lines are the eclipses, and it's showing that 55% of Mercury retrogrades are neutral during Mercury station retrograde. 67% of Mercury retrogrades are negative, with an average loss of about 22%. So more than less, we see Mercury retrograde negative in the market. Now, another important thing is price tends to peak before all eclipses. And this is only recently. This is everything from the C19 crash over to now. And it's showing that these peaks come in before these two lines. So you can see we have peak eclipses, peak fall, peak eclipses, you peaked and you fell. Peak right here, eclipses, you peaked and then you fell. You see, you have your peak before the Mercury station retrograde. You go there at the eclipses, fell. This is all pretty much lunar cycle energy. So it's making me think now, okay, Mercury is going to be station retrograde on April 21st through May 14th. Is this going to be a situation like this, where look at this phase of the cycle? You have Mercury retrograde right there. You moved up into an eclipse and then you blasted through that plus 75%. And that's what led you to your buying climax. Are we going to make it through Mercury retrograde and just blast up one last time into the May new moon and then keel over? Sure. Why not? It's possible. I mean, if you really look at this iteration, and that iteration, we could literally move up into May 19th. I showed you the May 19th, May 20th, May 22nd. So we have right here May 19th being the actual new moon. Let me make sure of this. Correct. Okay. Then we move over to the 20th, 21st, 22nd is a Monday, and that's your 3/22/223 date that I talked about. Remember May being that actual third month in the 223. Is this how they're going to end it? Are they just going to pump us up into this date and then say, fuck you on the 222 date? That would be so funny. Like, I think that's possible. It's very possible because it's random and it catches people off guard. Or do we make it through that full moon of June and then have that scenario like we had in the past two cycles where we do top out still in the month of June, and then now we have to look for more, we have to look for something else. So, I'm just really, really open-minded to all of this. But hey guys, I showed you my methods. Now, maybe if you wanted to take the same method and bring it back to 2019, and bring it back to 2016, in the prior two automatic rallies, like right here and right here, have fun, do it. And you're probably going to find some amazing stuff. So let's get to the regular Bitcoin chart. We're going to look at the weekly right now. I hope you guys enjoyed those charts, man. Like, I put a lot of work into that stuff. All right, so we're looking at the weekly. We know we're closing a weekly later tonight. We're stalled out somewhere around 28,000. We can see that this 55 simple moving average is still floating to the downside, sloping down, but we did have a very crucial cross of this 8 simple, the yellow moving average crossing above the 55 simple. It's incredibly bullish. So looking amazing, and on this weekly close, it should also cross above both 200 moving averages on the weekly. Now, the fact that this is all at 25K is making me feel like 25K is a very solid future support. So if we keep pumping up from here, I wouldn't be surprised if we return down to 25K and play along there for a little bit of time. We saw it like right here. Okay, you see this prior support level? It was just straight line. I know it's not drawn on the chart, but you could get an idea. Yeah, right here is better. Okay, so look at this. You see how we have this white line here, and when we pumped through the automatic rally, we actually back tested that same level within reason. And then we did this bull trap before the black swan event, but it's a black swan, so you can't count this shit anyways. And if you were to extend this out, I mean, what was it, 2 weeks below that level? It doesn't even count, right? So it's a black swan. Ultimately, this white line, if you can identify this early, you know it's a very powerful level to consider. So for us right now, it's 25,000 to 28,000 is where that range would be of this white line. Keep that in mind. 25 to 28. So weekly, we're looking amazing. In the positive on MACD, histogram green, we're looking amazing. We're above 50 on RSI. It's really like not a whole lot of bearish things to say at this time. It's mostly just bullish. 5 days looking gorgeous. We have a 5-day closure coming in tomorrow night. Let me look at some of our EMAs on the weekly. Oh yeah. Okay, so 13 moving average. We have the 21 about to cross above the 34. Huge. This is going to be all in positive formation. So on this weekly close, if this 21, the orange moving average, crosses above the 34, bada bing, bada boom. More upside potential for sure. It's already in that posture on the 5-day, looking beautiful. On the 3-day, of course, looking amazing. Geez, okay, like you have the 8 simple now crossed above the 200 exponential, but you see how this 200 exponential has been playing as a 3-day candle support going on 3 weeks now. Beautiful. Last back test was a support on the 55. That test right there was really nice. It's all bullish. I don't know. Bullish. We got the 8 holding pretty steady. 13, 21. We have this 34 about to cross both 200s to the upside. Bullish. If this 2-day 55 symbol could also cross the 200s, that would be even better. But let's see how the past iterations of that went. Oh, well, there you go. You can see that in the finality of the automatic rally, we had the 55 cross above the 200s. Same shit back here too. The 55 crossing above the 200s is what led us to that rally. So we're about to see that very soon. Tomorrow will also be a 2-day closure by the 13th. Pretty much, yeah, by mid next week, we should start to see this coiling up above 24,000 and getting very close. That could mean the June timeframe as well when we're trying to time this. You know, they say don't time in the market, not timing the market. Well, we're the few trying to actually time the market. That's why this is so damn hard. Okay, this is the daily chart. Our 8 is really squeezing with the 13, so we got to make a move soon. We just passed through a full moon about 3 days ago, so this is typical that we're getting a little bit of sluggish, neutral, sideways action, a little bit more downwards pressure. But ultimately, moving averages are looking amazing. We got the 200s at the bottom, 55, 34, 21, 13, looking amazing. Okay, so keep an eye on this 12-hour because that would be the first point of anticipation of where we're going right now. Does Bitcoin back test the 55 simple right there and pop? That would be more likely. But if we see this 8 simple start to cross the 55 simple and then all of these other key EMAs start to cross this white trend line too, or this white moving average, that would be a sign of a little bit of a chop down to about 26.5. Keep that in mind. That makes perfect sense because 26.5 is right there at the 34 exponential moving average. You could see that. That's a very critical level when you're in an uptrend. You could see that back test right there on that red moving average. When you're in an uptrend, you tend to have your more dramatic pullback to the 34 EMA. We could have that iteration happen one more time, and then that would look like a W to me, which is a very short-term W. It would also not look too beautiful, but I'm just letting you know. Less likely, though, at this time because of how everything's looking into this weekly open. and the fact that we're moving into a solar eclipse, which typically that's more bullish energy initially. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move on to ETH. I guess my final words on Bitcoin would be we've been trapped in this sideways range now for about 23 days. Really low volatility, not a ton of movement to the upside or downside, so a move is on the way. The more boring it gets, the more explosive the move is, and the explosive move is more likely to the upside before downside because we already made it through that full moon energy. Another thing that we know is by the third quarter moon, once we've gotten through that, we're pretty much bound to move up. The only other thing to say, though, is Bitcoin does like to move down before going up. You can see right here, down, right moments before it went up one more time. Then it went really harshly down before it broke out. It likes to do that. It's just a fake out technique to liquidate leveraged traders. But those of you holding spot, this doesn't really matter to you. Okay, we're looking at Ethereum, and Ethereum's actually looking good because it's broken out of its local range, and now it's started to backtest where it was seeing a little bit of resistance. So we had about 18 days of resistance before we did a little breakout to about 1940, and then we've locally backtested it today. It's looking pretty good. Let me see if we're getting any gaps on the CME. No? For Bitcoin? No? For ETH? Oh shit. Yeah, we have a big one though, down at 1430 to 15. And that's in line with this 20 right there to 21. So that could be a bigger pullback target in the future. Oh, that'd be so beautiful. If Bitcoin completes the automatic rally and then comes down to 20 by like September. Gorgeous. I would love to buy all the Bitcoin at 20K. But you make wishes, you make plans, God laughs, as they say. Okay, we're seeing clear right here. This is resistance. Clear resistance line. Like, look at this. It's going on now fucking 80 days. And that's sending us right into this 0.5 fib territory anyways. And that's in alignment with that peak. So we really got to be careful with ETH around 2,000 to 2,100. I don't know how much more juice it has after that. But if it can make it up into June, let's look at this. Yeah, no, I don't know. If it can make it up into June, it's still only about 22. That'd be amazing if it hits 23 though. 2,300 in the 5783 Hebrew year. That'd be amazing. I haven't done decoding on ETH in so long, man. Oh, we got the 56 too, combination of that. We were talking about that earlier. But yeah, what I was telling you before, we're in the Hebrew year 5783. 23 is one of the most important numbers this year. So that would be so funny if it went up to 2,300. It's a good technical level too, because if you look at the data going back here, where I'm holding my cursor right now at 2,300, yeah, that makes sense to me. Rejection at this W came down. First back test was right here at 2,300. 2,300 popped up for a bull trap, broke 2,300. We went down. That wouldn't be weird if it only makes it up to like 23. It wouldn't be weird. But on the downside, we do have this 382. Okay, so keep that 382 in mind. And the same thing goes for Bitcoin. We're struggling at the 382 right now. Like we got there and we started to stall out a little bit. So that's a crucial level. Holding that 382 is big. ETH just started to prematurely break out. So I gave a downside target. You'd be looking at about 1,700 flat if we're going to get a short-term pullback for ETH. And then the upside, it's this resistance line to keep in mind. This thing is clear as day, a resistance line. They're controlling it on that. So, I mean, we don't really have too much more to add. About 2,000 is where you'd want to see ETH soon. Okay, we got XRP. I don't think we could really say too much about this today, solely because we haven't really broken through the key level. I told you guys no parties until we're getting macro candle closures above 54. I told you that maybe 5 months ago, and that's still the case. We did see my 54-cent target get hit. It got up to 58. But until we're breaking above this 382, there's no true automatic rally for this coin just yet. We like to see the 382 breach to confirm automatic rally. And for XRP, that comes in around the 60 cent level. Getting a 2-day, 3-day closure above 61 cents, I think could send us to 91 cents very quickly. And I explained this in my past 2 videos. Nothing has really changed. So I'm going to move on now to gold. Have a little bit to say about that, a little bit of a decode to share with you guys. All right. So first things first, I'm going to delete this. We clearly have like a bull flaggy, a very legendary bull flag playing out. So you have a bullish breakout that went from 2018 all the way to 2020. We saw a test at 2000 going back in August 2020. We saw another test at 2000 on March 10th. Don't you guys think that's really funny that March 10th or that same time frame? It's like we get all these extremes in the market. Here we had gold pump up to pretty much an all-time high, but then back in 2020, we had the C19 crash around the same time. And look at how quickly gold responded to that. It was just boom, boom, done. So yeah, clearly a much better asset to be in during black swans. But when most people with gold are long-term anyways, so things like this are irrelevant to them. I mean, if you zoom out now and you don't know about where this timeline is, like if I was to cut out the time at the bottom, you wouldn't even know that was the C19 crash. That's how like much data there is to work with here. That's how long-term most of the gold investors are anyways. That's the point of being in gold, right? So getting to this, I'm just showing how if I show the resistance line, we got 2 touch points. This doesn't really count because it was very volatile. It got sucked right back down. And then the reason I'm confirming this line is because it got touched again here. And then this touch led to a pretty dramatic pullback for gold, about 7%. But look at how long it took to get back above that, another about 2 months. So once we broke through it, you can see that we traded on the outside a little bit. And then this higher high that we got on April 4th, the 4/4 date, also it hit 1984 at the open. Anyway, you guys know what that is. And it went up 1.84%. I love these numbers. But technically, this is looking really good. This is looking really good. I'm really bullish on gold. And the point of today is to talk a little bit about 2024 and my outlook on gold moving into 2024. So I have this fib I'm going to pull really quickly. Again, I'm in log scale. And just observing where things are now, I'm going to delete that. We've blasted through this golden pocket after a back test of the 0.5. So what I like here is from this move to the dramatic sell-off, we've had a shift into the top of the golden pocket, back tested the 0.5, but right here, in my opinion, when it got above the 786 is insanely bullish to me. I do not think that this move right here is a fake out like this move was. I think this is legitimate. So for me, if we're going to have any pullbacks for gold, I think it will hold these lows. I think it'll just be more higher lows moving forward. And I think that this upside target right here of 2,400 is the next upside level, not only by the TA, but I'm going to get into it with a quick decode. So you have the 1618 perfectly at $2,418, right above 2,400. I could see that playing out before the end of the year, potentially. As we move through September, Rosh Hashanah, into the Hebrew year of 5784. And this is where these 24s start to make a lot of sense to you. So we have the exoteric, which is gold, fibs, hitting 2,400 at the golden ratio, the 1618. Now we know we're moving into the year of 2024, and it adds up in the Hebrew year to 24. And gold equals 38. And the way that I perceive numbers here is 3 8s. So 38 can also be perceived as 3 8s. 3 times 8 equals 24. And we're moving into the year of the dragon in 2024. So let's look at the periodic table real quick. Gold equals the 79th element. 79 is the 22nd prime number. We're moving into the year of the dragon, which is 22 in Chaldean. The element gold is abbreviated as AU, and AU equals 22 in basic English ordinal. So gold in Gematria, remember I showed you it's that 38. Now let's add up the atomic mass. We're going to do just numerology on this atomic mass. And when you take 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7, you get 38. Just like in gematria, gold equals 38 in the most basic cipher. So you see how this is all coded in, guys? So now we're going to have a little more fun with this. We're going to go back to the periodic table and we're going to take what this added up to with the atomic mass and add 7 plus 9. And we're going to get 54. And why this is so important is you see that logo right there. That's the sun. Well, sun equals 54 in basic English ordinal gematria. Of course, gold is the metal associated with the sun. Now, gold in Latin is aurum. Aurum equaling 74. This is a very important number that we've talked about a lot in the past, but that 74 also ties you back to energy, which is 74, and that energy is all working off of the duality, Yakin and Boaz, the two towers. So you have this duality that we hear mostly on the world stage, which is some savior as your 74 and some bad guy as 74. Just pay attention to this. This is not religious. This is decoding at a highly esoteric level. This player character called Lucy is translated from Latin to light bearer, which is essentially the sun we see in the sky that gives light. All right. Now, notice how Lucifer has this 74 and 38 connection, just like energy has this 74 and 38 connection. It is the light bearer. Aurum equals 74, which is gold, 38. And the 38 equals 3 eighths. 888 is 24. And aurum and AU, when you take the word and you put the ticker symbol next to it, which is something I like to do often, the abbreviation, you can see that adds up to 24. We've been talking about that 24 a lot. And we're entering the year of the dragon, which is 2024, the year of the sun portal, the year of the parasite. It will have the Summer Olympics in Paris, France. Parasite. That's what this sun in the sky is. It is a taker. It lives off of us. So anywho, we're not going to go too deep into that because that would require a whole breakdown. But big reason why I think there will be an event on the world stage around April 8th of 2024 is because there's going to be a solar eclipse. And we keep talking about the sun and gold, and 2024, we have that very important eclipse on April 8th. So it will, the specific time I think we will have an event is April 15th of 2024. You guys can mark your calendars for this. I do believe it will be an event on the world stage that everyone will hear about. I don't like doing predictions, but this is one of the times where I feel really confident in this. April 15th of 2024 will be an event. It'll probably be a fire event or an event that has to do with the sun in some way, shape, or form, some capacity. The fire concept is shared with the fact that we're in the year of the dragon. And if you look at the Paris Summer Olympics logo, it is a flame. That's predictive programming. They're showing you what's going to happen. So one last thing I thought of was to add the value of the atomic mass, which we did before. That would be 38 when we added 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7. So we have that 38, if you remember. And then we're going to add 79 to it. We're going to add the element number of gold, and we have 117. What I find interesting about this 117 is central bank digital currencies. Central bank digital currency, CBDC, it adds up to 117. And another really popular 117 in gematria would also be market crash. And you could see market crash giving you the 117. Of course, we know Bitcoin also gives you the 117. But this is making me think because remember, I was sharing in my last live stream how 9/11, that September 11th date, it's not actually 9/11. It is 7/11 because septem is the prefix sept is 7. It's amazing. 9/11/2001 happened on a Shemitah year in the 7th month on the 7/11 day. It's not 9/11, it's 7/11. Consider this stuff, guys, because my next decode that I'm releasing is going to be talking about July. And July is of course, exoterically, it's considered the 7th month. But a lot of things have went down in the month of July in the past, and particularly one connection that I want to share with everyone. So I'm going to be releasing that decode, I'm hoping next week, as I brought up earlier, add a lot of evidence as to why we could be moving up through the month of June potentially to have something big happen on the world stage around early July. So the reason I brought up gold and the reason I brought up CBDCs and all of that is I see that all on the horizon. And I believe by October of this year, we will start to hear that word CBDC everywhere. We will start to hear about digital currencies replacing cash. I don't think it will go live then, but I think that is the time frame. That is something to keep in mind. Again, no fear here. This isn't scare tack. This is just me spreading my truth. And we're already preparing by having this gnosis, by being the ones to take action on this market earlier and not waiting and not trying to be greedy and knowing about the projects that will be, the ones to be in during this transition. You guys know. So let's go over to VeChain. We're going to be going over VeChain, T-Fuel, and Dogecoin really quickly. Those are the coins. I thought today's value would really come from us talking about One second. Yeah, I thought today's value would really come from us doing that gold decode as well as the entire beginning and the TA with Bitcoin on these 3 charts that I shared. That's really where a lot of today's value came from, because Bitcoin is the energy of this market. When this topped out here, the whole market keeled over. When this topped out here, the whole market keeled over. So you need to consider that the end of these automatic rallies happens harmoniously across the board. There's really no isolated things. Now, before the end of Bitcoin's automatic rally, we could have all sorts of stuff going on in altcoins. But when it comes to the end of this automatic rally, it's one of your last chances to take out and de-risk yourself before we could potentially go even lower for altcoins. Bitcoin is not part of that conversation, but altcoins definitely are. I've already shared and exposed my theory about October and how I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of shitcoin market washout. And we have 15,000 to 20,000 coins in this market. Almost less than a handful of them actually matter and have a working technology behind them, have a use case. And outside of that, they're just meme coins. So that has to come back to reality sometime soon. And I believe that this year into April of 2024 is when we will see that event occur. So getting over to VeChain, we've had 2 rejections around this 236 fib, technically 1 rejection of this 236 fib. We've come to backtest this level of 2 cents. We had it touch here. We had it touch again here before this small capitulation, and then another touch point here, holding it for now, pretty much 2 months. So this tells me a long-term story for VeChain about the level, and this level backtest was actually the prior SOS. So if you go off of the way these cycles work, you have buying climax, selling climax, automatic rally. Here was your spring. This is your sign of strength, and this is your backup phase before you went into a buying climax. So this right here, I know it's a little hard to see, but that crown top is what we're playing with from June till now. It's about a year of backtesting that. That to me shows a huge sign of strength. As opposed to Litecoin, we saw trading down here in the C19 supports. So it would be like a VeChain was trading at 0.003 cents right now. That would be the similarity if you were to compare it to the Litecoin chart just going back a couple months ago. Now that's not good when you see that. And so far, this for me looks much healthier in the long-term macro outlook for VeChain. This is looking a little better, but I still plan to de-risk about 80% of my position into the automatic rally regardless. I could accumulate later. I don't mind. I'm patient. It's just the way I am. So like I've said many times, you can't really confirm automatic rally on one of these tokens until you get to the 382 and breach it. And you can see here the 382 is a very crucial level. you had some tests before a little bit of a bull trap, and then once you broke that level at the 382, we slid down into the selling climax. So 4 cents is big. It's very big for VeChain, and typically we see a move up into the lower golden pocket range and the 0.5 fib. So to say this in plain English, somewhere around 6 to 8 cents, call it 7 cents, would be likely for a move in this. If we take off the last fib pull, we could see what happened right here. We have a swing high to swing low Fibonacci pull, and we came right below the 618. So right below the 618 for us is what I just said, somewhere around 6 to 7 cents. And we don't look the same at all compared to this cycle right now. So this is telling me, are we just going to spike up, or are we going to have a little bit less, like a little more of an anticlimactic automatic rally for VeChain? We don't know. We never know, because coins can move up in a straight line in a single day, 100%. We see it happen all the time in this crypto market. We saw the Hex rally and how that went, right? Where it just shot up, boom, and then it came, keeled over. We saw a couple days ago with Dogecoin, we'll be getting to that, but we saw straight line, moving up in 1 week, 70%, just 1 week. 70% gains out of nowhere. If we were to see that in VeChain in 7 days to go up 70%, it would already be into a structural high, going on a resistance that has been going on for 300 days. You understand? So that's how this market works. It just catches you off guard. One day, it just boom. And I know there was a reason for the Hex thing because of Pulse Chain. There was a reason for Dogecoin because of Elon changing the logo. Whatever, man. It doesn't matter, because what I teach you is if you had your TA and your preparation, you would have had your limit orders set. So it doesn't matter what exoteric bullshit they want to tell you on the world stage. You can figure this out with decoding or figure it out with TA. If you combine both strategies, you will become elite at this. So that's what we're trying to do here. Whatever reason they need to give people on the world stage, it is what it is. But I already proved why that Twitter thing happened on the day that it happened with Dogecoin. It's all bullshit. It's all nonsense. I went over it in this, and I'll get to this tweet when I'll explain it a little bit further in the Dogecoin section of this TA. So getting back to this, we really need to be patient on this move, because I do think this was the completion of the selling climax. Let's look at a couple of the moving averages here. Okay, so we're having some struggle at the 8 simple moving average. If we could get a close above 0.25, that would look really good. We're coiled up on the 13 and 21 moving average, and then we have a little bit of resistance at 0.26. So yeah, guys, until we get above that 236, this is a stalling, So let's just keep that in mind. 3 cents VeChain is necessary for us to see a little bit of life force moving us up into that 382. And then after that 382 is when you want to be prepared to start taking some action, because it could be quick. With this asset, you could see right there, that distance between the 382 and this top was 18 days. It went up 100%. Like, dude, that's basically me telling you that when we initiate automatic rally, this thing could go up right there to the 7-8 cent mark fast. I would not be waiting on this golden pocket at this time unless there's some isolated incident for VeChain and their ecosystem. Now, downside targets would be the 0.21, or just call it 2 cents flat. And we're going to go over to Theta Fuel. Okay, so we got some important trend lines coming in that I've been able to identify. You're going to see a lot of trend lines, but just focus on these green ones at the top. So we have this one here coming in at the first big peak rejection, clearly playing a role into this moment here. We have the second one, which is coming in, and if I turn on area, you might get a cleaner idea. As for the second trend line, it's on most of the daily close highs, and then the third trend line is on all the wick highs. So this is the more extreme version. And as I hit all my touch points, so you could see 1, 2, 3 confirms this outside trend line. As it scoops down, it's all converging right now, right here. We had this big shot up on the 27th, right here on the 24th, and then recently. We are about to make a move. So let me show you in the micro. Damn, this thing's getting ready. Yep. Okay. So that's your selling climax. That's your second test. And then you have all of this. This is like how much more coiled up can you get? And when I showed you the XRP chart with how coiled up that was, let me show you. You saw this moment and then it broke out. I know Bearable Bull shared that, but I had it going from the C-scam crash, all of this touch points, and it coming down into this pattern. And when we broke out, you know, it was pretty juicy. So I think that's about to happen very soon with Theta Fuel. It's looking clean to me. This downside trend line is really important too. You can see this was the bull trap peak before the C19 crash. We peaked up super fast. Holy moly. Back tested it, held it for a while, and then went straight up into our continuation of the bull run. Then since we've gravitated back down to it at the end of the year, where almost all altcoins came back down. And since we back tested that, I'm going to keep this green trend line in play for the rest of time, because that's probably where we'll be able to catch some of the juicy prices on T-Fuel in the future. This project might be one of those that has completed its bottom and it will not go lower unless it does for a black swan or some sort of spring-like event, which of course is possible. Unimportant to speak on right now because we're getting close, getting really close to this breakout. So let me pull a bullish fib and show you what's up. 1 second, I'm gonna drink some hibiscus water. All right. So you could see that this red line that I have on the chart is right between the 236 and the 382. As I said moments ago, you need to get above that 382 to really confirm the automatic rally for this particular project. We definitely have some room to go. After 10 cents, you'd want to be looking into the 19-20 cent area. It could happen in short order. So around 19-20 cents, and then we have a bunch of peaks coming in right here, slightly into the 618, around 23 cents. 23. Remember, we were talking all about that number 23. So imagine ETH hits $2,300, T-Fuel hits like 23 cents. Like we're just going to start seeing all these 23s. It'd be mind blowing. Bitcoin hitting 32,000 at the same time. See if anything's jumping out to me. We got that 54. That could be that dragon theme. Oh, and the 67. That's the 19th prime, bringing you back to raw. We know that this thing's a flame. The logo of T-Fuel is literally a flame. That's all dragon, year of the dragon vibes. I'm super bullish on Theta. Future wise. Theta is 54, just like Sun is 54. They call Venus Eosphorus, which is the light bearer. That's Lucifer. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. They just want to confuse you. It's all, they trap you in duality consciousness. And then when you become a decoder, you see that that's the biggest trap of them all. Anywho, yep, coiling up. I mean, these patterns are uncanny. We have this trend line here, resistance. We're getting real coiled up to break through. I would say first level to consider is somewhere around 10 cents on the break and then 19 cents moving into the finality of the automatic rally. And then we could play around. I mean, if it wants to swoop high, we know this coin can do it. This coin can move, you know, real quickly. I mean, just look off of this right here. 400% in 19 days. Madness. Even on this wick right here, this one wick from wick low to wick high in a single day, it went up 70%. Got rejected and came back down though. So that's why I don't like that 8 cent level is kind of weird. We have to get above that. Yeah, there's a whole lot to get into with this project. I already decoded Theta in the past though. It's part of my exit strategy blueprint, I believe. Those of you that are interested as well on how to decode and determine exit strategy levels, perhaps my blueprint is available. It's the cheapest thing on my website. For you guys, it's like $40, $43, $44 or something like that. Yeah, it's hella cheap for how much value you get out of it. How much money you would save by having it too, because too many people get greedy in this market. But it shows you conservative levels to consider at this time, for sure. Anyways, gonna move on to Doge. And I'm gonna wrap this one up soon. Okay, so remember, let's talk about the basics. We have this fib from swing high to swing low, no parties until we start breaking this 382. This was like sort of a false rally breakout that came harshly back down right around that eclipse of November 2022. Since it's been chopping in this range, so that tells me that once this gets above the 382, and if it could start moving into the 0.5 fib, that this level that it's trading at right now would be a key level to look out for in the future. This white trend line I kind of just drew out of nowhere. I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but weird. Anyways, don't look at the white trend line. I have no idea how that got there. But we can see it is pretty clean on this local selling climax cycle. Got 1 touch point, 2 touch points, 3 touch points, 4 is confirmed. But let's go back to this tweet. Also, if you guys want to follow me, it is at WatersAbove. There's a scammer that's pretending to be me, but this is the correct way of spelling it. WatersAbove. And this is the scammer's account. They're buying followers. It's kind of weird too, because they promote my videos in Patreon. So it's like you're paying to have fake followers, and then you're also like, it's like free advertisement. But what I don't like is when people DM this guy, this person answers them back and tries selling them on some fucking trading profit sharing bullshit. And these scammers, man, they are successful at what they do. But anyways, let's go back to this tweet that I shared about Dogecoin. Could be helpful for everyone to get an idea, but I said Dogecoin dropped 0.22 cents into November 9th, which is 11/9 according to the Gregorian system. That's 119, like 9/11. And 144 days later, it pumped up 22%. So you have your 22% down, then 22% up, as above, so below. And then it gets rejected exactly at 0.0019 cents, right there. 0.119, 9/11. Now, the 144 comes from Dogecoin equals, Dogecoin equals 144, Doge equals 22. So we have that 22 right here, coming up twice, positive and a negative, and then we have the date into the price, positive, negative. It's balance. So the fact that it hit up into this price and Elon changed the logo of Twitter around this time, and then he changed it back like 2 days later, again, a 2, it's not on purpose, guys. Like, these guys don't give a fuck about anyone. They're just doing this to play with people. And then look at where the price went. It went right back down. Literally, from the top of that move down, it lost 40. Oh my God. Did it literally lose 44% in 4 days? And this happened on April 4th, the 4/4 date. Bro. 22 plus 22 is 44. 144 is just 44 with that 1 giving it emphasis. Holy shit. Yo, we're in a simulation, dude. This is insanity. All right, well, there you go, man. Whatever. This isn't madness. You know, I have a theory about Dogecoin in the future that I'm going to share. I don't know when the timing is right, but probably around like October. We'll see. But I don't think this coin's going anywhere. I actually am starting to change a little bit. Not change, because I've talked about this for a while now, how there's distractions in this market, and how, you know, it's all about how you play the game. You know, if you don't have the energy to learn about NFTs, then you probably shouldn't be getting involved. But if you have the energy to learn about NFTs and you can master that and make a ton of money, then that's dope. The same thing with the meme coins, the same thing with all these, Doge and Shiba coins that were created. Have fun with it, man. But I think Doge might be here to stay. It could be one of those big mythological connections that I've come up with on other projects, such as XRP being a Jupiter token, etc. But anywho, to wrap this one up, I would like to see trading above this level for Doge, but I don't like the way this coin moves. I don't like these random peaks. I don't really enjoy the movement on this project. I see here that this 2018 cycle to 2021 is almost an identical cycle as XRP back in I'll show you really quickly. Let me see if I can get enough data here. Oh, this is it. This might be mind-blowing for you guys, because a lot of people I don't think anyone's ever talked about this. I'm comparing this cycle right here of 2017, 2018 through the top of the bull run to the XRP cycle back here of 2013 through 2018. It is the same. It's the same. It's the same cycle. Just different like extensions, but like it's the same vibes. Peak on launch, sell off, automatic rally. Peak on sell off, or peak on launch, sell off, automatic rally, long arduous sideways trading range, even with these big V dips like we got along the way. Same shit. It's the same story. And then look at the breakout. Boom. Boom. Sideways for a little bit, and then launched to that peak, to that blow off. Launch to the peak, blow off. And then look at this. It's the same. Dogecoin is never, I don't think Dogecoin is going to go into price discovery on the next cycle, because it might be just living off of the juice of this XRP run. Like it handed the baton to Dogecoin. XRP handed off its algorithm of price action to Doge. So let's think about this. What is XRP? It's probably Jupiter. It's a high-level Jupiter token. Now, who's the son of Jupiter? Now you see where I'm going, guys? I think Doge's Mercury. This is the craziest thing I think I've ever found. And yeah, you heard it here first. The cycles are insanely similar. I could do like a 1-to-1. I'll match them up 1-to-1. Oh my God. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. So is in the next cycle, maybe Doge only comes up to like 47 cents, like how XRP couldn't break out. And now Doge gives back the baton to XRP, or it goes to something else. I don't know. But that's a big theory, man. And that'll be a fun one to talk about. So I'll wrap up this video here. No, actually quick thoughts on Zilliqa, because I got a lot of people voting on that. Zilliqa, I think, is in the same sort of situation. Trading around the 236, it really needs to get above that 382. I like how this prior pattern has shown me a back test here on March 10th, March 11th, the same day that Silicon Valley Bank failed. I don't like this lower high, though. Like we have a high and then a lower high. We need to get through this energy. We could be back testing this W here. It's a very awkward looking W, but it's a possibility that could be your neckline. And I assume somewhere into like 037 would be your measured move off of it. So not enough juice to make it to the 382, but this coin is another mover. So the difference between getting above the 382 and the bottom of the golden pocket could happen real fast, like super quick. Remember this breakout last time? Just straight line rocket ship. So kind of looks like a Saturn logo too. But anyways, so just some quick thoughts on that. I mean, it's more similar to the last couple projects that we talked about than it is different. I am actually invested in VeChain, Theta Fuel, and Zilliqa. So I will absolutely be taking profits on these soon. They're projects that I think will be here for the long term as well, so I don't feel weird holding on to a little bit of them throughout the next cycle. But in the meantime, I will definitely start to pay attention a lot to these projects once they break the 382. But until then, I'm going to wrap up this podcast. It's been a long one. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you got an immense amount of value out of today's transmission. I have so much love for you guys. Happy 2 years to the Wolfpack, and cheers to many more. And I'll be catching you guys on the next episode. Much love.